And what's this for, you might ask? Well, let me tell you. Because today we're going to build the Tiny Whoover. That's right. So what is the Tiny Whoover, you might be asking? So for today's build we're going to be using a foam black Tiny Whoover, and we have also a yellow, red and blue somewhere. Blue. But screw those other colors, because I want to build one in black. And the objective of the build as well is to make it as cheaper as possible. So I got this 10-pound e-chain without any FPV, because we're gonna start by building a line of sight Hoover, and then we can add FPV if we want to. And this foam I got from Drone Junkie, so there will be a link here below. Drone Junkie that started, well, helped started this crazy, what is now crazy, Tiny Whoover revolution, almost revolution, although it is revolving. Well, you get the point. Anywho, let's open the package and see what's inside. And you can visit the Drone Junkie at their website. It should be, maybe I'll put it like here or something, dronejunkie.co.uk, where you can find this and many other colors as I just shown you. So let's take this out very carefully, because inside of the package we're gonna find two halves. First, the top half, which is actually the bottom half. Let's see if I can maneuver this out. There we go. Almost, no. Alright, well, I screwed up. Don't worry. Good. There. And it doesn't really matter. So, we have the top part with some extra bits that you can glue on as well, and you have the bottom part, which is actually like the skirt, so it makes like there's a little hole on the inside. Yes? Good. With me so far? Because it's really not that complicated. Now there's tons of ways to build this, and actually this is something so new that I don't think anyone has created like the way of building it. And anyways, this is like DIY, so it's really up to you how you're gonna build your own. But if you would like to see the way that I'm building, this is the video. If that makes any sense. Also, with this e-chain, so this flies like a regular, like a Betaflight quad. So if you wanna take a look at how to build a one with an Actrix board, take a look at Jesse's video, and I'll leave like a little connection in the end of this video. So we can start by taking off the parts that we're not going to use, and that leaves us with the bottom part and some extra bits that we can use but I'm not going to use. And then for this part you just take the outskirts off. Oh. There we go. You take the innards off as well. There we go. And then this is bits that you can use, but actually for the build that I'm gonna do today, I'm not gonna use most of this stuff. I'll explain what it's for, but again, I'm not gonna use most of these. So if you take a look at the rings that come inside of the package, the way that this is supposed to be used is to take the rings out, glue them like that on top of the thingy, majigabo. Yeah. Then the skirt goes underneath, just like that. Oh, so pretty. Then you have this this tower things here. They go on the back holes. Oh, just like that. There we go. And then the motor would dock here on top of this. But we're not going to build it like that at all. What we're going to do is first going to start by, what's the nice bit? Kind of like this top one. So we're going to start by gluing the skirt underneath. So I went ahead and I glued the bottom half to the top half, and nothing fancy. So there's still bits here that didn't glue very properly, because I suck at DIY. There you go. Yeah, again, very quickly, just glue the bottom to the top, just hot glue all around, and that's pretty much it. Now for the interesting part, for the part that I'm making different, which is by adding none of this, none of the extras. We're gonna add though the Ichin. Where is the opening for this? Oh, there it is. Okay. Take it out. That's the quad up here. We're gonna hurt this badly. That's the remote. We don't need it right now. And what we're gonna do is, the cover's already coming off. Excellent quality. What we're gonna do is, we're gonna remove the props first. And what I want to do is, I want to take these motors out, but it seems that I will have to solder the motors first. So let's do that. Okay, so now that we've taken the motors out, we need to take out the flight controller, which is pretty simple. It's just 2 screws and the flight controller is out. Now what I want to do is we kind of need, so the 2 front motors would be really cool if they would fit in the frame directly, but they kind of don't. So that means that we have to break them off. So we're gonna cut the struts on each side to liberate the motors, sorry, the motor mounts, but we're not gonna cut them in the middle, we're gonna cut them right in the edges, because we want to keep the struts. That's kind of the end result that we want to have. We want to have that tiny little thing jiggling there in the middle, not connected to the motors. If you break them, don't worry, it'll happen. But you'll be at one point that you can actually disconnect the front motors, and then maybe even disconnect the back motors if you twist them around. Yeah, so back motors, front motors, and you should end, if you did it correctly, with something that's gonna look like this. Now that's gonna be our battery holder, and I'll show you in a bit how we're gonna mount that. Now for the struts, what we're gonna want to do is, again, don't cut the joint part in the middle, cut it right in the edge. We end up with 2 struts that should have like a little plastic thingy underneath, like this. and then two other struts that have nothing, so they're just a motor mount. So those two I'm gonna use for the front motors, but you know, this is optional. Obviously you can just use the motor mounts that come with it. Anyways, doesn't really matter. I just think this looks cooler. So I'm gonna put one and where's the other one? Two in front. And if you want, you can glue them. If you don't want, you don't need to glue them. I mean, at the end of the day, this is foam, so you know, as long as you're gentle and don't break it through, it should be fine. So as you can see, we have our front motor mounts on, and what we're gonna do with the flight controller is with the flight controller mount, we're gonna put it somewhere here. I don't know exactly where yet, because I need to put in some motors. Now, how are you gonna put the motors? You're gonna put them exactly the same way that they were on the quad. Looking pretty nice. Now we're gonna want the flight controller ideally to be here, I think. Yeah, the motor will reach there. We'll be able to solder 1, 2, and also what we're gonna want to do is to take away this connector in the back, and you're gonna have to solder like a small little lead that you can plug into any battery that you want. Then you can take this off. You're gonna take this one, and that's what's gonna be our battery holder. Now the thing with this is that it only holds the batteries that it came with, which are this ones. So if you have any Tiny Whoover batteries, like so, you're gonna have to do a little cut there in the front so that the battery can slide in, otherwise it's not gonna go anywhere. It's something pretty simple to do. Again, you can use some scissors, adult supervision, or whatever. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna cut it right in the middle. If I can, yes I can. And then, what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna fold the ends out a little bit, so without breaking, hopefully. And that means when I slide in the battery, like so, I'll have to bend those a little bit more. This is gonna act like a little bit of a spring. There we go. Gonna add like a little bit of a spring, and it's gonna hold the battery in. How cool is that? So just to show you again what I've done. So now the second part of it is to solder the motor wires first to the flight controller, and then assemble the flight controller on top of this thingamajiggabob, and put, you can use a little bit of foam here that you got from the package as well to kind of hold it down. So why did we leave this tiny little like thingy majiggabobs out? Very simple. You can, so I got this idea, by the way, from Matt Hannon. If you haven't seen his stuff, he's a team pilot for Tiny Whoover. Go and check his channel. It should be like popping up here. And I really enjoyed the way that he, well, kind of thought about sticking the struts in, which makes it that as long as the wire can reach the flight controller, you can pretty much put the strut like outer in the frame, a bit more outside, like that, maybe not that much, or further into the frame. But this you'll just need to do a little cut in the frame, stick the motor for the front or for the back, and really kind of see what's best for you. Instead of if you use these, they're pretty good. Like these are the mounts that come with a foam frame, but that means that you're fixed to wherever you're gonna mount the foam. With this, you can just put a little bit of dab of hot glue on it, and then you can just stick it on wherever you want to, really. So we're gonna go ahead and solder all the cables back. Now the reason that I said leave those little struts there, focus, is so that we can then put the original frame back on, covering the flight controller. How cool is that, huh? Okay, so we need actually a little bit of foam here on top of that, but because it's too big, it won't allow it to close it off here with a screw. So we're gonna need to cut more stuff. Again, this is foam, so there's no real right or wrong of doing it. I think that's pretty good. It looks level now. So when we put the flight control on top, I think that's gonna hold it pretty nicely there. The hard part is now, because we have to put some hot glue underneath here and try to match it up to where you think the flight controller is gonna be good. So try to center it as most as you can. Try not to tug on the cables too much, and when it's good, the right place, you can kind of push it down on the foam a little bit. Not gonna break it. Foam. And that should be it. Huh? Nice and tidy there. Sorry if I'm not really showing this properly on the camera. This is already hard enough without the camera. There we go. Look at that, huh? Perfectly secured. And if you want it, you can even do, maybe put a little what's it called, like sticky tape underneath, so it's even more secured. But I think, you know, I think it's pretty good. We might need to move this motor a little bit forward because of the cabling. But again, this, you know, you can just get longer cables for the motors, or different motors, or whatever you want, really. So for now, I think we are complete, and that's the reason that I wanted you guys to keep. This is one more. No. Focus. There we go. That's why I wanted you guys not to cut this ends right here, because that's where the cover, the flight controller cover, is gonna fit now. So you can just pop it in there. Be careful, because those struts now, they're not connected to the motors, so they're quite fragile, but they should be hardened enough that it will hold your flight controller. Sorry, it will hold the cover in. So you can see it's pretty in there. There we have it. I'm sure you're all excited to see this working. So without any further ado, let's go and watch it. So here's the completed product. We're gonna put the battery in it. No, it's not working because it's this one. Right, let's shove the battery in. It should still fit like before. We're gonna put the connector on while the cat is licking himself. There you go. Just gonna put it here on the floor. Turn on the remote, on, off. He knows what's coming. And there you go. So as you can see, there's a little bit of a lift in the front, but that's because it doesn't have any camera, so it's lifting a bit more than it should. Also remember that with that tiny little mod that we did, either the original battery or the Tiny Whoover battery is still gonna work on it. So the only thing as well to add is that the control is done almost completely with the left hand, although you can pitch backwards and then like rotate on the spot. Or if you pitch forward, it's just gonna go a bit faster. That was quite a long build log, but I hope that you have enjoyed and learned a different way maybe of building the Tiny Whoover. You might have noticed as well that it was bumping a bit on the floor, on throttle. Well, not bumping, but I definitely felt it like rising the front. That's because the CG is wrong, because it doesn't have any camera in the front. So if you add an FPV camera to the front, the CG should improve a little bit and make it even faster, because instead of just lifting the front and going, it will go with the CG a bit more perfect. I couldn't help well, I couldn't finish this video without recognizing the awesome talent of Whoover pilots that I learned how to create this from. Actually, we kind of learn with each other. Mr. Paul and Mr. Hussein, and also Matt, and obviously Jem from Drone Junkie, and Matt Hannon from Tiny Whoover Pilot. All of these we kind of like got together and started racing, and these, and it was just a bunch of fun. It took a while until we got them to go straight, but now I think yeah, with new techniques of build, the drift is really improving. So hopefully you also will get this amazing feeling that is drifting with a hovercraft. Really, that's kind of what it is, a hovercraft. Don't forget, there's one final thing that I didn't show in the video, but you should definitely do it, which is remember to pimp out. There's so much space in this, look at this. You can pimp out all those stickers that you have at home laying like in some drawer or something. Now is the time to sticker up your quad. Oh, that one was nice, look at that. Sticker it up, make it personal, make it yours. Stuff that we can't really do on racing quads because it's a bit harder. On this one it becomes that much easier. Add LEDs, add, go crazy. I would love to see what your build looks like. So yeah, if you've done a build, or if you've done a video build, leave that link in the comments. And thank you for watching. If you are not a subscriber, why not subscribe? It's free, you know. Hopefully we'll have some more videos of this little guy here, but there's also more videos around the channel for you to see. Probably you'll see some links popping up on this side, maybe on this side, who knows. I'll see you next time. Bye.